everyone. Welcome to this episode of The Latest Thread. This time we've decided that it's the perfect, timing to talk about the return of the Quilting with Confidence tour, because I know we're super excited to finally be coming back out into the world and seeing everyone in person. But before we start to talk a little bit about that and kind of all the fun, exciting changes that are happening this time, you're probably noticing that there are more faces on your screen. And so we have some guests. We have one educator joining us to kind of share what's going on the Statler side of things. We have a returning educator, and we have a brand new member of the hand-guided team. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves instead of me trying to do that and probably screwing it up. So
I'm Lisa Rogers. I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm a Statler educator.
I'm Karen Sievert. I currently live in Suffolk, Virginia, and I am the returning educator, hand-guided.
I'm Jeannie Schrader, and I live in Colby, Kansas, and I am the new hand-guided educator.
So
Welcome.
so everyone think, what are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think for me, the most exciting thing is that we're now going to have those advanced days,
Yeah.
because I feel like if there's a lot of quilters out there who have had their machine for maybe a few years. So now you're not really new, or maybe you have even, are like me and you've been quilting for 20 years, but you want to come and now you can, where you're probably going to learn some stuff. And I think it's going to be neat.
And maybe like the people that already took tour, now that we haven't had in-person tour for forever, but now that it's back, maybe they want to come take either the fundamental refresher or go on to the advanced track.
Well, and I would imagine there was probably a lot of people due to the isolation that bought camels during the whole COVID thing that probably want an opportunity to learn how to use them to the best of their abilities. So I think both tracks are wonderful for that reason. It gives both the novice and the more experienced person alike the same opportunities.
And the other cool thing is too that you can mix it up. You can take 2 days of the hand guided and 2 days of the computerized track. Either the beginner for one and the advanced for the other. So because a lot of computerized quilters also want to, dabble in hand guided. So it's great opportunities for anyone.
And Abe, I like what you said, because you can flip that backwards too. Let's say about the people that have been hand guiding and they're thinking, do I really want to Statler my machine? Maybe this is a good time for them to take some Statler classes to see, what they think about that part of it too. So
Right.
Well, there's always room for growth.
What are you looking forward to, Jeannie? Because
Well,
you haven't toured yet.
I have not toured yet, but I think it's also fun to just be with a lot of people that all enjoy the same thing that you do. And you get to meet new people all the time. And always, even if you've been quilting for 20 years, there's always opportunity to learn new things wherever. So I think it's just a great opportunity for everyone all around.
I know
how many people who sign up for the first 2 days change their minds and decide I want to add the next 2 days because
They have to be
I need
careful
more.
though, because they have to maybe think about that a little bit earlier because they're
What
going
if
to
it's
fill
sold
up.
out?
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
I do believe Nashville is the first stop, and I do believe it's already sold out. But Sharon, are you
it is for sure.
I
I'm
did
sorry?
hear that. And then I heard that there were 2 more that were right on the brink of being
Yeah.
sold, but I don't know the cities.
Sharon, can you share the screen for the Quilting with Confidence page, maybe?
Yeah, why don't you chat while I bring that up?
Okay. I'm like,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think what Jeannie said is that's the one thing that always sticks out in my mind when I think about the tour is how many people came to the stops
Mhm.
and didn't realize that, most people are somewhat local because they're drivable to the tour stops. And
Yeah.
they would be like, had no idea that all these other long arm quilters were right, in their basic vicinity. And so it was really neat because they actually networked and found their own little new group of,
Yeah, they build relationships. I mean, sometimes we saw them exchanging emails or whatnot, contact info. And yeah, and on the other hand, we were in some cities, a couple I can distinctly remember, where people came in the carfolds. They all rode together because they saw this and they knew each other and they made it into an event, a social event alongside with learning. So you have all kinds of groups.
Yeah, that community. The
When I
people
first
you didn't even
started,
know were in your actual community.
when I first started, that's how I got started. Is I had a friend that I quilted along with. It was a neighbor, and our learning phase went faster because we had each other. And so, when you come to these, you can meet people, like you said, that you didn't even know you had another long armor around the corner from you. So that was a great thing for me when I started.
It's like you don't have to invent the wheel all by yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, so one other thing too that we probably should mention is, well, specific, I guess, to hand-guided quilters, is that nothing about the classes is gamma specific.
Right.
So you can have any long arm. If you have a long arm, really even, a short arm, mid arm,
Even a domestic.
yeah, really, all the designs will relate, no matter how you quilt with a machine. Yeah, so I mean, because it seems like, gosh, since the pandemic, so many of the other opportunities where we could go and take these classes at shows and stuff has just really got a lot less.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And these are so nice because they're close enough that they can be drivable. So that helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
Long arm quilting education close to home.
Yay!
It took me a minute. I
sometimes-
closed down all of the programs on my computer so that it wouldn't glitch on me. So I had to get it all fired back up again. So it took me a minute, but
That's okay. Because sometimes the website doesn't like to share. I don't know why, but when you try to share the external websites, it's just
Mhm.
so anyway, if anybody wants to visit that, it's gamel.com /quilting with confidence, and it shows you all the dates, all the locations, the venues,
Mhm.
The titles of the classes.
little descriptions.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's where it
Nashville
says
is
the
sold out.
class
Awesome.
sold out.
Only hand guided is sold out,
I
not the
see.
whole thing yet. So if there
Right.
are computerized people,
Mhm.
they can still squeeze in there.
I remember Nashville being a really busy one when we did the tour before.
And I think there was a survey that went out, and I think a lot of people asked for Nashville again. I think.
Nashville was a lot of fun. I got to do that one. It was just a great place to go visit. And I think that's one of the fun things about the tour too, is it gives not just the educators, but the students or people that want to learn an opportunity to go and see someplace that maybe they've never been before, kind of expand their horizons a little bit.
So that has all the details and all the goodies.
Yeah, there's tons of information in here. And of course, if anything, there's a question that people have that isn't in here, please send an email to education@gamel.com.
Yep.
And then there's a link here that shows you who the educators are, which Gamel did announce this past week, I believe.
All the good stuff.
And then there's the classes.
Yeah, and I think somewhere on there too, it even has the description.
Yeah, I think that's further down.
I have to say, I don't know that I've looked at the thing.
We always see the back side of the classes, not the front.
Yeah, so maybe we should let people know what are the classes that the groups are together, because there's a couple of classes
Yeah.
that are applicable for both hand-guided and computerized people.
So yeah, the first one is at the end of day one, I think.
That this one,
Yeah,
caring for
caring
your
for your
long
long arm. And it's about caring for your long arm. It's technically a maintenance class, but it's not intense, insane maintenance. It's the things that you need to do every day and the problems that you're going to deal with while, using your machine thread.
again,
I think that it's less GAML specific as
Yeah.
well, so
Mhm.
that, I mean, they're good practices in general, right?
Mhm.
right, you can own any type of machine, any brand, and you'll still really enjoy that class.
And then at the end of day
Day
two, which is the wrapping up of the foundational skills, is fabulous fixes. And if you were on tour before, fabulous fixes is now in part 3, fabulous fixes 3.0, because every time we change it just a little bit and we add more things, because we're just sharing with everybody all the mistakes and all the solutions we have come up with in our experiences quilting. So I like fixes. I like that class.
I have to agree with you, Karen. I think this is a really, really valuable class for quilters, whether you've been quilting a long time or you're just starting out.
Mhm.
It's going to save you a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And what a great way to end the first 2 days for anyone taking the foundational classes, is just to finish off with that hope that, oh my goodness, that, I'm not the only one that this happens to. And there's ways that there's more than one way you can.
More than one way. Yeah. And
Right.
I like that they're the combined classes, because hand guiders will hear some computerized perspectives and the computerized people will hear the hand guided views on it.
Mhm.
Very cool class. And then we go into the advanced classes, which on hand guided are almost all 3-hour classes, because that's you want to stitch. You don't want to listen to us. Except for the last class of day 2, which is a lecture class. And where we go?
Is that
No.
this one?
No, their day 2, the advance, which is day 4 of the event, right?
Okay, so which class do you want me to?
Down
Keep
to
going.
advanced.
All the way probably to the bottom, I bet, maybe.
Yeah, so the end of day 4, I should say,
Okay.
day 2.
Oh yeah,
It's
this is another one that has everyone.
breaking up spaces, which is, we're going to have some faux quilts, just we're not having real quilts because we don't want a piece.
We
But
don't
we're
have
gonna some
time.
faux
No.
quilts that have lots of big open space, because that's scary to some people. It's like, what do I do with that? I don't want to just put a giant fill in there. So we're going to have a couple different options that we share, both hand guided and computerized, to give you a little bit more designing ideas and how to, like the title says, break up that space.
And I think, Karen, also, we all look at spaces differently.
Mhm.
When I first started quilting, I looked at them so literal. It was a square, so I went and got a square pattern and I put it in there. But I noticed some of the other educators, they look at that square differently than I do. So that's really a great thing about that class, is you get to see a lot of different point of views and a lot of different skill levels.
Yeah, like you'll see that design on the screen, and then as we're breaking it up, you might be like, well, why wouldn't I would do this? All right, because creativity attracts more creativity. So whenever there's a group of people discussing creative things, you'd be surprised what happens.
Right.
Well, and whether it's, the computerized view of how they would break it up or the hand guided, everyone can do that exact thing. It's
Mhm.
just going to be
Right.
the way probably that you would do it is different.
Yeah.
And so, and I think another thing about that, when you have these giant spaces, I quilted on an 18. So for me, that's a big part of how you're going to break it up, because I needed to make sure that my throat space can fit it, or how
Mhm.
I would do it so that I knew I could reach. in
Mhm.
these different areas.
Instead of rolling back 42 times to make an arc.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And then
Right.
that's all the descriptions of each class. Very
It's
cool.
gonna be awesome.
It's awesome.
We're just a little bit excited.
Just
Yeah.
a little.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing, Sharon. You're
You're
always good at that.
Boom, boom. Okay, I just kind of zoomed through the rest of it, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, all good. Yeah, so if anybody wants to find it, you can just, like Karen said, I'll just highlight this again so that you can gamel.com quilting with confidence. Or you can even like enter quilting with, that's what I did, because I was like, where exactly on the website is it that I needed to find it the quickest so I can share it? And I just went to the search box and typed in quilting with confidence, and it took me to this page. So
yeah,
that's super handy. I like the search box there. So yes. And it's fun looking at some of these pictures. Like I remember some of these people.
Oh yeah, I remember a lot.
Like Karen, do you remember this little group right here?
Yeah, okay.
And he got hit. He was on the side of the camel truck for a while, wasn't he?
This was in Lubbock, Texas.
It was.
Yep. That was an awesome class in the tiniest room ever.
We made it work. Yeah, we made it work. People were just so enthusiastic about it. It was awesome.
And then, of course, there's always the tracking the camel truck,
Yep,
Mhm.
that's coming soon.
like Santa Claus.
That was so cool when Dwayne came up with that.
Yeah, it started out really slow, and then all of a sudden,
It was like, boom.
we're waiting.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more about where's the truck than where's the actual tour. Okay.
And he did a really good job, getting some good shots where you see I was waiting to see where was he, what's the background and what scenery, what sunset, what animals.
And I talked to Dwayne the other day, and he's getting excited. He's figuring out how to pack that truck and get back on the road again. So it's exciting to all of us get back out there.
I'm excited because it'll just be all new for me.
Yeah.
And it really is a lot of fun. I mean,
It is.
gosh.
It really is.
Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit about what's going on with the Quilting with Confidence tour. And I hope we see you out there somewhere along the way.
Mhm.
See you
We're
next time.
excited.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.